Here it is, championship week. We will start right there in the AFC in Foxborough. The Patriots and Jaguars in it for the first time since '99. And in the NFC, your nightcap, the Eagles and Vikings battling it out there from Philadelphia. And that is our game of the week here. It's the Jags and Patriots. Tom Brady has reached the AFC Championship game in 12 of his 16 seasons.
That's it?
After beating the Titans. It's basically 75% of the time, Sean. Blake Bortles' career completion percentage is 59.1, which means Brady is more likely to make it to the AFC title game than Bortles is to complete a pass.
Wow, that's cold.
Right? It's not fair, but it's
but
something.
True.
Yeah. The Jaguars defense, meanwhile, may have given up 42 points, but they also accounted for 6 points themselves and did keep Big Ben at bay down the stretch. Calais Campbell, a big part of that effort, and today named the PFWA Defensive Player of the Year. But, of course, that doesn't make stopping the Patriots running backs any easier.
Their running backs are all very tough tackles. They're the punt returner type, running backs. So they're tough tackles. And they have a lot of speed. Those guys are faster than most running backs. In my opinion. Deion Lewis has got a lot of burst. You see him on kickoff return, taking things to the house. He's just an explosive guy. They have a committee of them. All of them are very gifted.
Well, you heard it from Calais Campbell. The running back's vital to New England's production on offense. They get targeted a bunch, and they end up in the end zone quite a bit as well. Also, talking about Deion Lewis, highest yards per carry in the league this year. James White, he's caught 5 touchdowns in his last 2 playoff games.
Yeah.
And Sean, Rex Burkhead is now on his way back after missing the last 3 weeks. So what kind of challenge does these running backs for New England present?
Well, you saw that number, 10 touchdowns, most in the NFL for running backs. And when you look at the word committee, is kind of what jumps out at me from what Calais Campbell said. Doug Marone's talked about it too. How do you stop them? They're all different, but they've all got speed. Well, they also got great design. And this is a great play call to get the running back in space. You see Gronkowski right here drawing the defense. He goes in motion. And at the snap, Brandon Cooks is going to fake a reverse. Look what that does to the defense. The entire defense is following them. And now you sneak out Deion Lewis out the back door, and he's rumbling down the field. So now here's the other guy, all right? Now you've got your other running back, James White, here on a pre-stab motion. He's just going to outrun the linebacker and outrun everybody. That's speed in the red zone. They do a great job of it. Now let's look at the Jaguars. They've struggled against some running backs. You flex the running back, Duke Johnson, out on this pass play. He runs right down the seam. Telvin Smith, guessed on the route combination, struggled in space. This was last week against the Steelers. One-on-one versus Le'Veon Bell. Telvin Smith is as athletic and fast as any linebacker in the league. But he just doesn't turn his head around right here. It's not something he's comfortable doing. So you see that matchup right there. That's what the Patriots want to take advantage of. Doug Marone talked about it earlier on. He talked about how they're going to try to create a mismatch, try to create that one-on-one. And it's not just screens. It's that one-on-one against the linebacker they're going to try to look to take advantage of. For the Jaguars, they've got to get pressure so their defensive guys can hold up.
Yeah, and Rex Burkhead also a part of that attack, as I mentioned. 8 touchdowns for him this year on 94 touches.
They all had that stanky leg, too. That little AI crossover where you think you got him.
Yeah. Run game or pass game, for sure. And in the run game for the Jaguars, Coach, they are the best in the league this year. Leonard Fournette, obviously a big part of that. But they're not going to mess around with you, right? They're not going to give you all this fancy eye candy and all that stuff. They're going to put a fullback in there and come right at you.
They're going to have lots of time to practice against that kind of fancy stuff because offensively, they're just going to get in the eye and bludgeon you to death. No one likes getting into 21 personnel, get into the eye more than the Jacksonville Jaguars. And here's why. Here you're going to see that just Bohannon's the fullback. Not many people have a fullback on the roster anymore. He's going against Vince Williams, linebacker. This is a weak side ISO. This is as simple as a screwdriver. It's one-on-one, and then it becomes a scrum. He runs for about 5 or 6 yards, and then they're just pushing and shoving. They get a 10-yard gain. Now we're going to run the strong side lead. Same way. It's you and me, buddy. One-on-one, Bohannon, Vince Williams. We're going to pick a side. This is the old nutcracker drill, right? Every high school kid in America starts the season that way. Now, here's the part I like. This is the old F-shoot play by the 49ers play. Vince Williams says, I'm ready for you. Nope. He whips because he figures that the lead's coming at him again. Bohannon's running down. There's nobody within the same zip code of this guy because they just going to pound, and then play action in behind it. So this is what the Jacksonville Jaguars do. The key is for them is obviously they got to run the ball. Bill Belichick's brilliant at scheming, this, that, and the other. They don't care. We don't care how many you put in the box. We don't care whether you're pinching or sliding or pirating. Doesn't matter. We're just going to go head-on-head, one-on-one, mash our way through, and you're going to wear down by the end of the game.
It's old school, classic football.
Yeah.
It's going to look a lot like kind of Tecmo Bowl, maybe a little 10-yard fight. But when you look at the Patriots, they're a 3-4 defense by design and by personnel. But they ran a lot more even defense, a 4-down look with the Sam and the Will linebacker on the line. They did it last week against Tennessee. They did it in the preseason game against Jacksonville when they played each other this year.
And they've never allowed a rookie rusher to go for even 60 yards in a playoff game.
Watching them on film, when they communicate, when they check, when teams are doing different formations and different shifts, you can tell that they have a really good game plan for that moment. They do a great job of film study. You can tell by what coverages they run at specific times. And the key to anything is they play fast. They're not thinking, they're reacting. They're a reactionary defense. So the second the ball is completed, the guys are shooting to it and making tackles really quick.
All right, yeah, so that Vikings defense, obviously a force to be reckoned with, especially when they blitz. They allow the lowest passer rating in the league this season, just over 63 when they bring the heat. For more on this matchup, we go inside the film room with Coach Sean.
Championship edition of Film Room. Coach, the Vikings taking on the Eagles. And I don't know if I've ever seen a number one seed be an underdog 2 weeks in a row, but that's where the Eagles are at right now. A lot of it's because of this Vikings defense and something you know a little bit about. Defenses win championships.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this defensive group, Minnesota, is the closest thing I've seen to that record-setting 2000 group that I had that went on to win the Super Bowl. A little bit different shade of purple.
Yeah.
But here's why. You can look at a lot of numbers at this Viking defense. But here you can see on first down defense, second in the league, third down percentage first. They don't give up big plays. And if you happen to get down the red zone, they're third in the league in red zone defense. Third down is a big one. Let me show you some third down plays that reiterate what I'm talking about here. You see Harrison Smith and Xavier Rhodes. This looks like 4-cross man. Drew Brees goes, great, I'm going to get a man coverage here. Well, no, you're not. It's a 4-man rush. They drop into a zone coverage. They do a nice job of taking away the passing lanes. And when you drop the ball off, even to an excellent back like Kamara, they're going to come screaming up and make the great open field tackle.
Great speed.
Now they're going to rotate again. You're going to see Harrison Smith. He's down in the box. Well, what's he doing now? Is he going to come? Are they going to play man? Well, he comes down, and this is going to allow the linebacker now to rush. This is a 5-man rush. And now all of a sudden you're thinking, well, now I'm going to get man again. No, you're not. I'm going to have zone again. We're going to cut off your angles. And with a 5-man rush, I'm able to put more pressure on the quarterback. Now, so if you're going to bring 5, now I'm going to change up again. You see Harrison Smith coming down into the box. He and the linebacker are both going to come. But watch, they're going to drop the defensive end off. So they're going to get a 5-man rush. But now it's a different 5 men, and they get home because of the sack, because you just don't know where they're going to go. Well, how about 3rd and 1? If I can get a 3rd and 1, well, no, you can't. How many times do we show film of teams not fitting up? They do a great job. They're in their lanes. They fit up together. They play as a unit, and you're not going to get them on 3rd down. So this group is as advertised, and it's going to be the stiffest test that this Eagles offense has seen all year long.
Yeah, the purple people eaters. It looks like that. They're so suffocating. Or eagle eaters. I think when you look at the speed, the power, it's a great challenge for the Eagles. I think they still want to run the ball. You don't want Nick Foles in 3rd and 7+. So that first down production, it's going to be huge. I like what the Eagles are doing with their run game. I like the schemes. This is an 8-man box right here. Now, there's different ways to run the football against it. Jacksonville's totally different. The Eagles love the wham play. They edge the defense with the tight end. You get your guard up on the backer, your center up on the backer, so you get your offensive lineman to the second levels right now. It's a great scheme. Now, here's another way you can scheme and edge the defense. You double team at the point of attack and pull the tackle. You see Vitae there knock the defender over, gets up to the second level. Now Ajayi's got a 2-way go. Great job getting him in space. This is what the Eagles do well. They do so many different schemes, but yet they can do them all so well. This is the athleticism that I love from this Eagles offensive line. You want to run a perimeter run, you pull the center and Jason Kelsey. You've got Vitae doing a great job finishing right here. And now you get a big run by going horizontal and edging the defense. Then when everything is working and now you want to throw a wrinkle in, how about this gadget play that the Eagles ran against Atlanta? You pull Lane Johnson, the tackle, so the linebacker never sees the tackle pull. He's keying on the running back. Deion Jones has no clue that Aguilar is coming over here on a gadget play. Those wrinkles right there are things they're going to need. You mentioned how tough this Vikings defense is. You're going to need a couple of big plays like that sprinkled in. You can't just say we're going to try to run the ball downhill. You can't just ram against the wall, and especially because they're so good against the short yardages. You mentioned it. We saw the Eagles go on 4th and 1. down on the goal line, get it in. It's not going to be that easy against this Vikings defense.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how those type of gimmicks plays hold up against the discipline of the Viking defense we just saw.
So let's talk a little bit about this NFC Championship game and the Vikings and Eagles. Mike Zimmer was actually asked today, Coach, what he thought and how different this Eagles offense had been without Carson Wentz. He said, not that much. They're still running the run-pass option and actually been pretty good with it with Nick Foles. You can see his passer rating just over 96 and a completion percentage of 90 on the RPO. So how are they finding that success with Foles?
Well, let's remember, Foles came out of the Chip Kelly system, which is a staple of that. So he's very versed in it. And it's really very simple. It's a matter of run-pass option, just like it says. He puts both hands on the ball because he knows he's displacing the secondary. There's a nice, easy alley for him to get the ball out for a nice, quick reception to Aguilar. Now, there is some reading in terms of the secondary. You got to start with the run. He's going to, again, both hands on the ball. Now, you can see the end man line of scrimmage comes flatter, but that does leave a little voided zone that now Aguilar flattens it out. He knows where to go to the open part of the defense. And again, it's an easy completion. Now, they'll condense the formation because you don't run nothing but slants. He sees he's got easy access with an outside corner to run just this quick out on the outside. Now, this last one isn't an RPO, but the RPO set this up. You got to go vertical. So they got 3 verticals at the top, a deep out. He's going to run a play fake. This is a call by design. He's looking at the secondary down the field. Nope, I don't have the 3 verts, but I do have the one-on-one deep out to Zach Ertz down here at the bottom of the screen. So one sets up the other. Obviously, Nick Foles is very adroit at doing it. They need to come up with some of those big plays, though, because just underneath stuff is going to cost them against that good Vikings defense.
So we'll go from the run-pass option to the play-action pass as we transition to the AFC Championship game. And Sean O'Hara, the Jaguars, they love the play-action pass, and they actually did it with more frequency against the Steelers than they had all season. How does that free up those tight ends?
Yeah, maybe not quite as fancy as the RPOs that the Eagles are running, but still, it's all about how do we get big chunks with little throws? Well, you do it by running the football, but you also do it with some clever play-action passes. Now, I want you to watch this formation right here. This is 3 tight ends, right? You got 1, 2, 3 tight ends, and look at all these defenders right here around the line of scrimmage. 9 defenders within 5 yards. This is how the Jaguars want to get big plays. Now, I want you to watch this tight end right here, all right? You got my man Koyak. He's just going to leak right through this little defender right here, right out into the flat right here, and this is an easy throw for Blake Bortles. Chuck Knobloch could make that throw from second to first base. That's big passing play on a little throw. This is what the Jaguars did, as you mentioned, Rhett, last week, a great job of it. All right, now here's a different formation. Now you're going 2 tight ends. All right, still, again, we've got a ton of defenders right up here at the line. They're all keying in on the run play. And this play action fake right here by Bortles, everybody's watching, everybody's looking in, and nobody is watching my Irish brother, O'Shaughnessy, right here as he leaks out late in this play. Now, look, everybody's running back, screaming back to cover the wide receivers. Another easy throw for Blake Bortles and a big run after the catch. Now you transition this, the play action passing game to the tight ends from the Jaguars to what the Patriots are doing last week. All right, I want you to watch Delaney Walker right here. This is the same exact kind of run action for Mariota as for Bortles. And I want you to just watch what this run action does here to these linebackers. Look where everybody's looking. All right, you've got defenders looking in the backfield. He's looking here. He's looking there. The middle linebacker shot the gap. Nobody's covering Delaney Walker. They're all so concerned with stopping the run that they've created these big voids in the passing game. This is where I think Jacksonville could try to take advantage of the Patriots defense. Yeah, they want to sell out and stop the run. But if they can get some big passing plays from some short throws by Blake Bortles, now I think they've got the Patriots right where they want them.
So I want you guys to dig a little deeper here. I need some NFC Championship game X factors. Coach, you are up.
I'm going to dig as deep as you can get into the interior of that defensive line because they can be pretty good. For Minnesota, it's Linville Joseph. What does the inside got to do, Sean? He's got to gobble up protection and run schemes. He's got to be 2-on-1. And if I get 1-on-1, would a quarterback hate it? Right back in your face. Linville Joseph just right back into the quarterback's face. Going to make it tough for Nick Foles. Well, you know what? The Philadelphia Eagles, they got a pretty good inside guy as well because now they end up they've got their big guy in Fletcher Cox. Same way. What's he doing? He's gobbling up blocks. He's going to be very creative in the way he jams the interior of that Minnesota Viking line.
All right, let's stick to the defensive side of the ball. How about Harrison Smith? Second on the team in tackles, but led the team in these interceptions and pass breakups. Not Xavier Rhodes. Great job turning the tables. Good cat and mouse game between him and Nick Foles. I'm looking forward to it. And then how about Brandon Graham? Right? 9.5 sacks, led the team. All but one of them came against right tackles. And look at the motor. Gets knocked to the ground, just keeps on churning, fighting. Great work ethic. I love what he does also in the run game.
And this is a look at how our friends at Pro Football Focus graded your X factors throughout the regular season and the playoffs. Guys, Harrison Smith, by the way, was the highest graded player in the entire league, regardless of position, by PFF in the regular season.
I can read.
Yeah, that's right. And now let's switch gears to the AFC Championship game. Sean, you are up. Give me a pair of X factors.
Yeah, the X factor for the Patriots, Brandon Cooks. We saw the Jaguars get torched by some deep passes. When you look at Brandon Cooks and what he brings to the table, he is their deep threat. Look at him just run by this corner right here. It's really a safety. But, I mean, Reggie Nelson doesn't have a shot right here. Look for Brady to make at least one or two of those to flip that game. And then when you look at the Jaguars, how about Yannick Ngakoue? All right, look, 12 sacks, but this is what impressed me the most. Led the league in forced fumbles. Right, he had 7 of them if you include the playoffs, and 4 of them led to touchdowns. We saw it happen last week against Ben. It could happen to Brady. That would be big.
Yeah, for me, you talk about Danny Amendola. And why? Well, we talk about Gronk. We talked about the backs. You talked about it today coming out of the backfield. Watch what Amendola does. He's a little like Julian Edelman. He's going to make something happen. He's just going to stay alive for Tom Brady, particularly on third down. He's going to be a huge part of what they're able to do. And on the defensive side, I got to go back. I got to go to the defensive side. We're talking about the Jaguars. Elias Campbell. Now, I know it's coming from the outside edge, but you better not go one-on-one. You better double. You better chip. You better put the tight end there, or he's going to put the kind of pressure on Tom Brady that they've got to have to win.